So you're thinking about moving to Atlanta, Georgia, or one of the other great Georgia cities or suburbs from New York, but you're wondering like what is the cost of living difference, or how that might translate to your bank account or your bottom line and your lifestyle. And that's what this video is all about. So we're gonna get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Atlanta, Georgia, or one of the other great states, or cities and suburbs around Georgia, well, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in Georgia. My name's Denny. The team and I get calls each and every day from people just like you looking to make the move to Atlanta, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in a week, a year, or anytime in between, call, text, email, carrier pigeon, whatever is comfortable for you. We'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Georgia. As I mentioned in this video, we're going to be talking about the cost of living difference between New York and Georgia. Full disclosure, it depends where do you live in Georgia? Where do you live in New York? Where are you moving to? And we can help you work through that. So give us a call if you kind of want to tailor this to your situation. But I'm going to talk about from the broad perspective, and we're going to cover things like housing and your home value, the overall, and then groceries, utilities, taxes, transportation, all that kind of stuff. But I've walked in your shoes. I've been where you are right now, meaning I moved from Atlanta to New York. I've actually moved from Atlanta to New York back to Georgia, just like you're thinking about, and then out to California, Chicago, Texas, and back. So been there, done that, got the t-shirt in all different stages of life. When I lived in New York, I was right out of college, a very young man, and September 11th happened back in 2001. And I thought, well, that wasn't really cool, and that's not what I signed up for. So I came back to Atlanta before taking that other walkabout. But we've been back here for, decade or more, and put down roots, got married, had kids, all that stuff. And just want to kind of share my perspective on making that transition. So with the overall cost of living, New York is about 25% more expensive, New York State, than living in the state of Georgia. So if, in the world of COVID, where a lot of these companies have been forced to move to allowing people to work remotely, you can give yourself a 25% raise just by moving from New York to Georgia. Now, if you can't keep your job, the business community in Atlanta and in Georgia the economy is booming. Actually, we've become the number one state in or city in the world for movie production, which is crazy. So tons of that here, but car manufacturing, technology, logistics, services, all that stuff. Amazon, Google, Facebook has a huge data center they're putting in right now. Rivian, the car manufacturer, the electric vehicle manufacturer, is just now breaking ground to build a manufacturing facility on the east side of Atlanta, going to be hiring 10,000 people. Kia has been manufacturing here for a long time. Home Depot, Mercedes-Benz North American headquarters are here. Porsche as well. UPS, Delta, Home Depot, those have been staples in the Atlanta area for a long time. Coca-Cola, that's a really big one. Can't forget them. HD. So big business and economy here in Atlanta. It's the melting pot of the world, busiest airport in the world, Hartsfield International Airport. A lot of people don't realize that, but whether it's for business or for travel, you can get anywhere in about one flight. You almost never have to connect. There's all direct flights, but if you do, it's really affordable because there's so many flights. So the airport's a real big benefit to living here in Georgia as well. So you can easily travel for business, travel for pleasure. And Atlanta, the one downside, you're not going to get a subway system like you get in New York. So if you love not having a car, and there are areas where you can live, work, and play around your job, that's possible, but it's not common. It's not prevalent. It's mostly a commuter kind of city. So that's kind of the big picture, but it's 25% cheaper to live here. Let's dive into some of those numbers. When we talk about the groceries, New York's going to be marginally more expensive, maybe 5% more expensive. So you're going to save a little bit of money on the things that you buy each and every day and every week, which are your groceries. That's a big deal in this household. We got 4 young kids, so there's a lot of groceries. When it comes to healthcare, it's about 11% more expensive in New York. So you are going to pay more there than you do here. You're going to save about 11% when you have to go to those doctors. We do more pediatricians for the kids than we do for us because we live fairly healthy lifestyles. But when you do have to go to the doctor, you do have to get a prescription. You do have to do those things, or God forbid, the hospital or something like that. It's going to be cheaper here in Georgia. When it comes to utilities, again, about 10 to 15%, depending on there's multiple utility providers, but depending on where you live, gas, electricity, water, all that stuff is going to be 10 to 15% cheaper. So here in the summers, your electric bills go up, and in the winters they go down. And in the winters, your gas bill goes up. In the summer, they come down, and water is fairly consistent. But your overall utilities, even internet, cable, things of that nature, all of that's going to be a good 15% cheaper here in Georgia. So that's transportation. That is going to be a big one. It's significantly more, as you know, if you do need to own and operate a car in New York. So the vehicle, the insurance, the repairs, maintenance, gas, vehicle ownership, transportation in New York is about 30% more than it is in Georgia. While we all have to have vehicles, you can control how much you spend on that vehicle, but you probably will need one. So transportation overall is much more expensive in New York, with the caveat that if you live in the city and ride the subway, those expenses go down drastically. And then the two big ones I always save, kind of the big ones for the end, that's taxes and your housing. And so from a home perspective, if you look at New York State and the state of Georgia, well, housing in New York, surprisingly isn't that. Now I say that much, 290,000 median home value in Georgia versus 377,000 in New York. So 100,000, that is like 35% more. So it is a lot more in New York. But if you look at New York City, you're talking about 1.2 million. I mean, that's a lot. And what does that get you? Like, we have vlogs where you can really understand what, your money buys here in Atlanta, but 1.2 million is probably a closet in New York, and 300,000, 290,000 in Atlanta is a single family home. Even in the city of Atlanta, the home 290 is the state. Atlanta, the city, is probably 350. And you get out in the suburbs, and it's it might rise to 400,000-500,000. But you're talking about I'm in a 4,000 square foot home with my 4 kids, my wife, fully finished basement with its own kitchen, apartment, and in-law suite, and then hundreds of kids with swim, tennis, basketball, all that stuff. And it's not that expensive. I mean, if I took this and put it in New York State, it'd be $10 million. It ain't $10 million. Let's put it that way. So anyway, housing is an issue. And attached to housing, the property taxes in New York are going to be 2 to 3% of the home value, which is nuts. Here in Georgia, it's as low as like 0.7 to like 1.3. So call it like 1. New York, it's like up to 3.5, almost 4 in some places, and under 2 some places, but really 2 to 3 in most places, which so it's double. The property taxes in New York are double what they are here in Georgia. And then income tax is another really big one. Your income tax in New York goes up to 10.9, almost 11% of the money you make gets taxed, whereas here, the brackets are, it's much lower in the lower brackets, and then the highest brackets, 5.75. So about half, about 50%. So you're going to pay significantly more income tax in New York, significantly more property tax in New York, and significantly more for your home. But overall, taxes aside, because they don't really calculate that in the cost of living, it's about 25 to 30% less to live here in Georgia. So hopefully you found some value in that. If you live in New York state, or have moved to Georgia, or from Georgia to New York, or vice versa, if you've got some comments, we always welcome feedback in the comments below. Our goal is to be a resource for our viewers. So if you aren't already, subscribe below, ring the bell so you get notified when we release new videos. And then if you are making the move and we can be a resource, obviously give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Be happy to help you make a smooth move. And until I see you around town, then I will see you on the next episode.